Hi guys, welcome back to this week's video, and I want to talk this week about Krampus, but not in the way people are thinking. I want to be talking about him in a way that we can work with him, especially in Seda. Any place that has an abundance of alpine seems to be a very old folklore, but we can bring that energy into our practice. Who is Krampus? Well, he is the darker half of the light. He is the shadow. He is the one that comes in our dreams and scares us. You know, Krampus night is a festival done in Germany and places like that, and it is done in a way that is very scary to the children, very scary to some adults. They have long processions and they are dressed with the horns and they look very much goat-like, which brings in Tangrisnir, one of the goats that belongs to Thor. Yes, so we have this night where everybody is scared by them. The children are sitting indoors, they're being told by their parents, hey, if you're not good, Krampus is coming to get you and he's going to drag you away in his sack. His name means claw. So you can imagine the fear in the children. But why do we do this thing? Why are we celebrating something so dark? Well, for that reason, you have to understand that the reason behind it is because it's the darkness of the winter. It's the darkness of our lives in winter, especially in the Nordic parts of the world, where everything is just so cold and bleak. Now you can hear the children in the background. That's one of the reasons I'm standing here, guys, because it's very orientated around the children at this time. They are the ones, a bit like with Santa Claus. We tell children, if you've been good, you'll get a present. If you've been bad, you get a black mark and that you're not allowed to have a present. And so he represents the darkness, the shadow within, the darkness of that season of the year, the harshness. He does not relent. He has not got a conscience, and that is because he's depicting the nature of winter, the darkness. And so we can take lessons from this and we can use this in our practice. Is there ways we can use this energy? Is it something we should avoid? Is it something we shouldn't teach our children? Well, I agree with it, guys, because at the end of the day, children need to know how tough life can be. Even from little, if they're taught early enough, as they get older, they will adjust to these situations. I just want to sort my plant out while I'm here. She needs watering. So, guys, what do you think about Krampus? I know in England and places like this, we don't really do this festival, but if you're a Seda witch, then yes, you do believe in, not believe, but you do use the energy of Krampus. Here at my altar, now this is my ancestral altar, and I have a picture of my mother and father on it. I have my daughter, and I also have my lovely pet Jack, who used to work with me with my magic. And in here is my pot, and it's got all the runes I've made, and each one with the intention of a person in mind. So this is a very basic altar to those that I've lost, but also there are others that go on here when I'm working on it, and so a candle will go on and things like that. And you can use Krampus energy around this time with this sort of altar. So I can sit with this and I can bring his energy in, because his energy is about shadow. So you're bringing him in to combat your fears, because his energy is powerful and it is dark, but it's dark also in a good way. So we can use that energy to aid us in our path workings. Well, if you've got Krampus on your side in your path working, no one's going to mess with you, and that is what that type of energy can be used for. you know, as we contact him and we work with him, he's not a danger to us. So I like working with his energy, and it's a bit like bringing Pan in the summertime. For those that do that type of practice, they will bring his energy in, and that can be disruptive and that can be dangerous. And so it's no different really to Krampus. Now, people think Krampus is just this fictional character, but if you bring him in, his energy, it is the winter energy. It's the time of the year. It's the harshness, it's the bitterness, it's the darkness, it's the insecurities, it's the not knowing whether we're going to get through, it's the damage, and so on. So we're bringing that energy in, but we're turning it around to benefit us. So instead of it being disastrous, he will stop things happening to you that were disastrous, because it will make you sit up and think what you're doing. So the altar for the ancestors is very important. It's something that I really enjoy doing at this time. Now you can make something that will help you to focus your thoughts on a picture of him, or read a story to get him clear in your mind. See where the aspect is coming from rather than just the story. Because like Christmas, things get taken over and the actual aspect of it disappears. This is how my energies are in the winter, all up and down. My altar is a working altar, guys, and that's something I want to talk to people about also when you're starting your practice. No, it doesn't have to be pristine. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you are a true witch doing witchcraft, your altar should look messy, because you're using it to do things on a daily basis. My candle isn't perfect because it's lit every day. My incense place is covered in the incense because I use it every day. Candle wax stuck to the cloth because I burn them down right to the end. And so it goes on. Leaves for autumn are really dead. I saved these, and the reason for that, guys, is because I can mush them up. It's got the energy of autumn, and I can put that into incense, and it brings through all the energy. It's my way of practicing, and so whatever I do, guys, I'm just giving you my point of view. So please don't feel you have to do everything that I do. Tailor it the way you want it to be. Now, working with Krampus is a very personal journey. So you could do a path working, which is something I wouldn't mind going through with you today. So you know the drill. You know that you take some deep breaths and you get in that state of mind where you feel relaxed and no one's going to disturb you, and you feel good with yourself. When you're in that position and you're in that thing, we then sit in comfortable clothing where you're not going to feel restricted. Make sure you're warm enough. If you're in a room that's cold, cover yourself with a blanket. Believe me, it helps. And if you feel you need protecting, there's always crystals to hold. I like to use this one. It's my favourite. It's rough one side and lovely on the other. And that depicts to me the seasons, both seasons. So you've got the warm half of the year and the cold half of the year. You've got the rough part of the year and the smooth part of the year. And so what I do is I hold it, and now I know a lot of you know I like to stick it here. When I'm calming down and getting my mind into that frame, I do this as well. It sometimes helps, guys, if you do the figure of infinity with your hips, because that's where the kundalini is, that's where the bottom of the spine is, that's where all the energies go down to, and that's where a lot of the rubbish gets tipped out. So you can alternate it while you're doing this and just put that one side, Keep doing that with your hips. You're doing infinity, because that's what we're like. That is infinity. Our lives are infinity. We never die. We're a circle that's never ending, a circle that's never broken. And so that's why I like to do it this way. And these are my ways, guys. As I said to you earlier, you don't have to do what I'm doing. Tailor it to yourself. And here we go. So when you get into that frame of mind, what we're going to do, we're going to take a journey into the snowy Alps. We're going to walk through the snow, and we're going to look for Krampus. And we're going to see what he's actually up to. Because he isn't a god. He's an energy. But he's also a being that has been methodically brought together, a bit like what I was talking about in my other video that I've just done, where it's a servitor. Now, think about it. These things like Santa Claus and Krampus are being brought into the world by many, many, many people's thoughts on them, and they are an energy that exists because of that. We are all designed and brought into the world these creatures, so they do exist, and they will always exist as long as people want them to exist. So once you've had this in your hand for a while and you feel calm and you feel okay, it's then time to go into the path working. So guys, I'm sitting in my granddaughter's bedroom. She stays with me, and this is her bedroom. And the reason I want to sit here is because it's got her energy in it, and it's got her little teddies and things in it. So I'm going to hold something like this that's really nice and soft, my little rabbit here, and we're going to talk about Krampus in our path working. Now, look at it from a child's point of view. They're young, they're very impressionable, and they don't understand the world as we do. And we know the world is harsh. And so Krampus is this figure that terrifies them because they don't know what he's about when they're young. It's like a fairy tale, and you get some evil people in fairy tales. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go on this path working as a child. I want you to visualize yourself as you was about the age of maybe 7 years old. Try to remember how you was when you were 7, what sort of clothes you wore, how you felt, and things like that. And just take a little bit of time holding your stone or crystal and just remembering back. Some of these memories might be hard for some of you who've had hard upbringings. Others, it might be okay. If you find it tough, think about your grandchildren's, if you have any. Think about them, or somebody you know as a child. Think about their upbringing. Just get that childhood sort of energy into you, because that's who we need to be to go find Krampus. Because we've been good little children, so we're not going to get hurt. Okay. Because Krampus moans and groans, and he comes for you, but you never see the outcome. You never see what he actually does. And a lot of the time, it's what's left to the imagination that freaks people out. So, we're cozy. We're laying in our bed, and it's cold outside. And it's so cold outside, you can hear the wind on the window, and you can hear the slushing of the rain and the snow coming down, and it's warm indoors and cozy, and you feel safe. So you think it's coming up to the 5th, and the 5th is the date for Krampusnacht. That's the night celebration of Krampus. And you're in an alpine family, so there's all forestry around your home, and you live with your parents and your siblings. And this particular night you've had a big festival because it is coming up to that date, and your parents have said to all of you, better be good, Krampus is coming, we're laying a table for him. the fear would start from a few days before, because yes, you loved old St. Nicholas, you love all that, but Krampus comes before, and he is not a figure to be reckoned with, for there is imagery written in books, and there is nasty pictures of him. And if you go into the cities, there is big processions with people dressed up as Krampus, running into the crowds and scaring everybody. Why are we afraid? I'll tell you on this journey, guys. So you're going to shut your eyes and you're going to relax now, and you're going to be in your bed. You're in your cozy bed. You hear a noise outside and you think it's an animal caught, and you're worried. Your parents are asleep. Everyone's asleep. And it seems like only you can hear the noise. So you go downstairs and your pet dog is in his bed and he's not disturbed. So whatever the noise was never disturbed him. So you know this is for you and for you only. So you put your coat on because it is bitterly cold out there. And you open the door and you go out into the snow. And there's a blizzard coming down. But you can hear this noise in the distance, like somebody caught and they're grunting. And you're a bit concerned it might be an animal caught in a trap or somebody injured. So you go out there and you realise, I can't see. So you go back indoors and you get a torch that your mum and dad leave on the kitchen table for nights like this. For it is bitter out there and dark. For you're at the time of the year where the day is dark for most of it. You go out with the torch and you light it. Now the snow has stopped and it's all clear. The wind dies down and you can see all this fresh snow laid out before you. And it looks so beautiful, so crisp, but so cold, so bitter. You feel a little bit less scared now because everything has calmed down. You hear a voice in the background or coming from away from you, from the house. And it says your name and it whispers, but it echoes. You are in a place where there's mountains, so if you shout, it all echoes. You hear your name again and you think, oh, who is this? So you walk further away from your home, and in the distance you can see a figure hunched over, walking towards you. As you get nearer this figure, it's an old man, and he is standing in the snow, and he says to you, what are you doing here, child? You should be in your bed. So you say to him, I heard a noise and I come to investigate because I was worried it might be an animal that's caught or somebody in distress. The old man says, come with me. I want to keep you safe, and if you're with me, you will be safe. I can take you somewhere till Mum and Dad know and come and get you. So, like an idiot, you follow this man. And as you walk together, he seems to be getting larger, and he seems to be getting different features on his face. So you say to him, are you a fairy? Are you an elf? To which he turns around and he says, I'm a helper, and I'm going to help you. Believe in me and trust. With that, he holds your hand firmly and starts to pull you along, and you realise this is no ordinary helper. This is someone that you should never have even spoken to. So you carry on walking through the snow. You cannot get away from him. Ahead, there's a cave, which is in a mound where the trees are. And he says, come with me, it's warm in here, and we can give you something to eat and drink, and you'll feel great. And as he goes towards the opening of this cave, you can hear somebody talking or humming or making some sort of noise in the cave. He says, shh, don't speak. Just do everything I do and you'll be safe. There's a beautiful fire and there's water on the boil in a big cauldron. And there's cups laid out as if he was expecting you to be there. There's a little seat, a childlike seat, and a bigger seat. So he takes you and he says, sit. And you sit. And he makes you a drink of hot chocolate, can you believe? You're sitting there with this hot chocolate thinking, what is this? And then you see Krampus. But he's got his back turned to you because he is getting his sacks ready, the big sacks that he's been told and you've been told that you will be dragged off in. You sit there in silence and he holds your hand and he says it will be fine. All of a sudden Krampus turns round, his big head with the horns and the goat-like features, and he snorts like he is an animal and looks at you with piercing red eyes. He looks at you for a while. You're sitting there terrified. Why did I come out? Why did I leave my bed? Why am I here? And he booms with laughter. Ha, 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 ha. And you realise he's laughing. He says, you've caught me out. You've caught me out. Now, you must never tell anyone that I'm like this. I have this record about my horribleness, my evilness, and I cannot deny that, just as St. Nicholas cannot deny his, because it's what is expected. But I have a bed. I have a fire. I have food. I have company. I have my helpers. And my helper went out to aid you because the weather is going to be really bad. And we want you to stay safe. He said, I am not a bad person. I am the dark half of the year. I'm the half of the year that shows no pleasantness. But I am also a nice person too. I look this way because this is what is expected of me. But I'm not here to hurt you. He said, if you look at all the stories that are made up about me, you never hear of a child being hurt. They are taken away. And what I normally do is take the children here and I talk to them and I give them hot chocolate. And I get them to see the perspective of how to stay safe in the winter, how to be good, how not to cause problems. And then we come back the next morning and the children are safely returned to their parents. But that part of it is always left out because the adults and people like that want it to seem like I'm cruel. Shh, keep my secret, because it's good to have an understanding of the fear of the season, because we have to live through it and get through it, and the parents want you to be strong when you grow up. To this, I look at him and I say, oh, that's amazing. He said, well, you have to keep my secret, because if you don't, then people won't be frightened of me anymore. So you sit there for a little while and you seek his kindness. And then all of a sudden he changes and he says, right, I'm in my mode now. I'm going to leave you here and you're going to go back in the morning with my helper. But I've got to go out and do my bit now. And with that, he roars, puts his coat on, drags his sacks, and he says, you might have some friends in a minute to chat to. So off he goes. Now the helper smiles at him and says, while we're here, we need to talk about the winter. We need to talk about this season of the year, about how you can aid yourself at this time by looking into yourself and finding out what dark parts need to be put right. And that's what the parents need to do as well. And so when I take you home, I want you to get a book and a pen and write down the things and the thoughts that you've been having and what you think you need to change. Work with that energy. Use our energy, which we will give to you, to aid in that way. And come the next season, you will be in a different place. And with that, you feel tired. You really want to go to sleep, and you curl up on the chair, and he smiles at you. And in the next minute, you wake up and you're in your bed. You're home and you're safe. And you met Krampus, but not the Krampus everybody talks about. No, the Krampus that is there for a reason. And so you wake up and it's a new day and everything is lovely. And you go down and your parents are going, make sure you're good because Krampus is coming. And you just look at them and smile. And you come back into yourself again. You're not a child anymore, guys. You're back as your proper self. And you've had an adventure. And so when you're ready, wriggle your fingers and your toes. Because even though this was like a story, it was also a sort of path working, and you've been relaxed. So you need to bring yourself back, stamp your feet, wiggle your fingers and toes, and go eat and drink something when you can. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. This is different. I know, I'm trying different things out. But on a different note, I would like to tell you that my first book is almost ready to go on the shelf at Amazon, and it is called Whispers to Freya, and it's a book about how to do invocations. It has invocations in it, has lessons in it, and it's only a small book, guys, so it's not too much to take in, and it has pages at the back that you'll be able to write your own invocations in, and it's handy to keep because it's small enough. So I will let you know the date it's going out. I am proofreading it at the moment, but it will be out this week, I would think. So keep your eyes peeled. The name on it, I'm going to leave the link of what my author name is so you can find it. But it's called Whispers to Freya, Invocations for Today's Seekers. So hope you're interested enough to go have a look. I can't believe I've done it. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hope you're all well, and I will see you again with next week's video. So wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of Malay.